Good morning, everybody. Lee Brower here, and I am glad, I am grateful, and I'm excited to be here. You know, this is our 104th Meaningful Monday. We started Meaningful Mondays 2 years ago with the intention of making our lives more meaningful. Not just our years, but our months, our weeks, and our days more meaningful. At the end of last year and the year before, I sent myself a video that I said, don't open up till 365 days later. We're approaching that date for 2015, my 2015 video. On that video, I sat down and said, Lee, if you're looking at this video, congratulations, you made it through another day. And Lee, if I were sitting here when I'm sitting there 1 year from now, and I'm looking back to today, here's the achievements that I think would make my life more meaningful in those areas that matter most to me. And I talked about where I saw myself in terms of my health, as evidenced by. That's critical. Those three words are really critical. You can't just say I'm in good health. You have to put as evidenced by. Where I'd be with my family, as evidenced by. Where I'd be with my spirituality, as evidenced by. What new experiences, new relationships, new capabilities would I see myself achieving, as evidenced by. How do I see myself giving back to society? What events can we do in WACI, Warriors Against Cancer and Kids and Young Adults, and other activities that will generate and increase the value of our gratitude, in action, as evidenced by? And how do we create more value for this planet and through our business and our unique ability and the talents that we have through our organization with our team and with our thriving clients, as evidenced by? And then I shared that with myself. Now I'm looking forward to seeing a couple things will happen when I look at it. One, just like on any journey, you're going to head out in a certain direction and you're going to think you're on the right direction. You know where you want to end up, and so you're following this trail or path. And there were some things I'm sure I put in my path that I thought I would achieve, some milestones I would achieve along the way that became insignificant to achieving my greatest result. They weren't that essential. So now I made course corrections. So some of the things I thought I was going to do are completely gone. But some of the things I had no idea about have shown up. But because I was in direction, I attracted new opportunities that would help me get to this course that I want to get to pass the milestones along the way that were important. Were there storms along the way? Oh, were there ever. Some big storms came along the way. But we were prepared for them, to learn from them, and to deal with them. And we're still dealing with some of them. But the learning that happens as a result of it and being able to get through this is meaningful for me. It's meaningful for my team, for my family, myself. So our achievements and our challenges are both meaningful. And you look at how do we have successful, meaningful years? It involves energy. Without energy, a vision, and having that energy to drive towards it, it's going to make it more difficult. And then also have an intentionality. Do you know where you're going? Do you know the things that matter most and how to achieve those and stay on track and not get squirrel, the greatest next opportunity. Stay on track to where you're going. Well, how do you measure energy and direction? You measure energy and direction by degrees. If I have water sitting here at 211 degrees, it's just water sitting here. If I have water sitting here at 212 degrees, I've got boiling water. And boiling water creates energy. Boiling water creates steam. Steam will power a locomotive. I want to have 212 degree days. How about you? Are your days 212 degree days? Even on my free days, I want to make them 212 degree days. I want to have energy each day. And you do that with intentionality, knowing where you're going to go. And creating the plan ahead of time, not reacting, but proacting, being very intentional about where you're going and what you're doing. And that comes through our Empowered Wealth Journal. It comes with sitting down in the day and say, what am I grateful for today? What are the 3 things that I'm going to do that are going to move me closer to that? And the Empowered Wealth Journal helps me do that. The second thing, direction. It's measured by degrees as well. It's absolutely measured by degree. In 1979, an aircraft carrying 257 people on a sightseeing trip, somebody had adjusted the measurements, their equipment by 2 degrees. By 2 degrees, unbeknownst to them. So when they came into Antarctica and they lowered down so they could do the sightseeing, they didn't realize they were 28 miles east of where they thought they were, headed straight for Mount Erebus, which is a 12,000 foot high active volcano. 257 people, passengers, plus the pilots, lost their lives just because of 2 degrees. When we get off by a few degrees, if you're to circumvent the globe, for example, and you took off and you went around the globe and you were 1 degree off when you took off, and you came back to that same longitude, do you know how many miles you would be off? 500. Over an hour of flight time to get back on track. 1 degree of temperature, 1 degree of direction. Can we this year focus on our direction and focus on our energy? And I think that if we do, and when we see ourselves cooling off or we see ourselves a little bit out of direction, check it frequently, put it back in line. We don't want to be like that airplane and the pilots, and the longer we delay in making corrective actions, the longer we put things off, the more difficult it becomes, the longer it becomes for us to come back to where we want to be. We're going to make this a meaningful year, a more meaningful year. Let's focus on degrees. Ask yourself each day, is this going to be a 212-degree day, and am I on my right target today to create the most meaningful results for me, my family, my business, and my community? 2016, welcome. Here we come. Talk to you next week. Bye-bye.